Long way, get this shit a long way, this shit a long way. Long way, hit the long way, 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 shit a long way, long shit a long way, long way, long way, long way, long way, long way, shit a long way. Gotta get the shot, get the shit a long way, get the shot, get the shot, get the shit a long way, rich, yeah. Gotta get the shit a long way, get the shot, know but she don't really understand, man. Gotta know but she don't really understand, man. Gotta get a meal but she don't understand, she be tripping every day, she be tripping every way. But I gotta get this shit a long way, yeah. Tryna get money every single way, tryna get money every single day, yeah. Get money every single way, every day. Every day we gotta get paid, yeah. Every day we gotta get paid, yeah. I'm feeling like we be the new slaves. No, we gotta finish rich, no, we gotta finish rich. Got a new bitch, she don't understand rich. She don't understand, niggas gotta get rich. She don't understand, sometimes we gotta hit lit. No, we ain't hit lit, tryna get the long way, yeah. Tryna get this shit the long way, yeah. Coach is tryna wrap up a entree, yeah. Told you the other day that did my phone strong. We gon' shoot the long way, we gon' get the long way, yeah. Yeah, I get the shit the long way. My bitch be trippin' back and forth like a phone way. When I ain't Atari, I ain't playing games, so I'm done talking. Yesterday she told me that she bout to leave, man. Said fuck it, bitch, we gonna get some money. Said fuck it, bitch, I'm about to get some money. So what I do today, I want to get some money, yeah. Cause we gon' get this shit the long way, we gon' get shit the long way, yeah. Back and forth like the pong way, yeah. Man, I'ma get this shit the long way, get this shit the long way. Just the only way today, because they go with shit's crazy. We gotta wear a mask, we the new slaves, and we be wearing this shit like every day. We be okay, we gon' be okay, they gon' be okay, they gon' be okay for me, yeah. So we gon' get this shit the long way, 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 yeah, we get this shit the long way, yeah. Cause we gon' be okay, we gon' be okay, yeah, we gon' get the long way, yeah.
Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to another edition of Savings Minus Debt. I'm your host. What's up, Aaron? Down South Yella, early up in here. What's going on? Welcome. If you're new to the channel, my name is LJ Young, the founder of SMD. And SMD is not me. SMD is a family of people that just share my gift. And my gift is that I know capitalism is psychological, split into two parts, positive and negative. This is a mathematical fact, which means it's true. All right. So it's not my opinion. It doesn't matter how you feel about what I'm saying. If it's mathematically true, it's true. And if you don't believe it, that means you have a psychological problem. It's like me saying, if I walked up to you and said, hey, 1 + 1 = 3, you would look at yourself and say, this guy has a psychological problem. That's what I mean. So if you listen to me and say, oh, that's bullshit, that means you have a psychological problem because you don't believe math, right? So, and that doesn't matter to me. And with that being said, with this understanding, there are people that live on the negative side of capitalism, right? They don't know that they live there. It's psychological. They don't know that they own nothing. These people are called debt slaves. They're everything. Currency doesn't exist for them. Nothing. They own absolutely nothing. And they don't know they own nothing. Okay. They're debt slaves. People that believe they can own things with no money of their own. Think they can buy houses with mortgages. Think they can buy cars with car loans. Okay. That's what they believe. Hey, whatever. But when you understand these parts, you understand that that's how they're supposed to be. That's part of the system. The majority must believe that. That's okay. I'm cool with that because I was there. I was there the majority of my adult life. I was there, and then, but I realized it was by choice because I chose not to trust the calculator. That was a choice. Guess what? The public system, the public school system that we all went to, they taught me about positive and negative numbers in elementary school. Yes, they did. And they did it for all of us. They showed us. They did. They had fake money, play money. I don't know if they still do it in elementary schools today, but when I was young, we had play money that we counted, take away, add, positive numbers and negative numbers. Sure did. They taught us all. Sure did. I was there for a very long time until I woke up, found Dave Ramsey. Dave Ramsey said, take my baby steps in this calculator and get yourself out of debt. That's what I did. I didn't need to buy any of his plans. It was very basic and simple for me. It wasn't really that difficult until I got down to the part where he says, pay off everything except the mortgage and start putting away 15% into retirement. That's where I left Dave Ramsey, because according to the calculator, if you put in your mortgage payment minus your mortgage balance and hit equal, you don't have 15% of anything to put anywhere. So that's where I left the Dave train and started SMD and discovered that capitalism is psychological. I didn't know that. So now that I'm on the positive side of the capitalism with this knowledge, I help people. You understand what it is. You once you get to zero, you own yourself. That's the beautiful thing about it. You own yourself. You got to put in the work. Don't get me wrong. It's hard to get to zero. Is just though zero is the hard part. That's the beginning of the new part. That's what I need you guys to understand. Getting to zero is the hard part, but it's the beginning of the new part. Beginning of coming to the positive side of capitalism. And with this knowledge, when you're over here and you do the work, you understand what it takes. You're not going to date anybody else. You're not going to date anybody else who doesn't own themselves, aka debt slaves. Now, what you guys don't understand, that with the dating world and the financial world, it totally changes, because guess what? The dating world and the financial world gets quiet. You guys know how much noise is out there in the financial world and the dating world? It's so noisy out there. You know what it is? Chitter chatter of debt slaves. They're just chitter chattering. They don't know what they're saying. They're just running programs. That's why it's so noisy. Hey, invest in this and do that, fast money, this and that. And then that trickles over into the dating world where people finance shit to impress other people. But when you finance stuff you don't impress a person on the positive side of the economy with a financed Cadillac, a financed supercar. If it's financed, you're not impressing nobody but debt slaves, okay? And that goes as far as the dating world too. So when you understand this, when you understand the financial part, you listen to the financial world very differently. You guys don't know that the psychological debt slaves don't know that the psychological part exists in the economy. They have no idea. Even when you hear me talking on the mic, and listen, don't forget this part, and I'm mathematically showing you that it's true, and they still don't see it. That's the psychological part. Therefore, they don't know that it exists. So therefore, they don't know that another language exists. It's the language of the psychological. Here, let me give you an example. You can't buy a house with a mortgage. You can't buy a car with a car loan. It only takes one day to buy a house. You can't own property with a mortgage loan. You can't own equity in a mortgaged house. Those are all psychological statements that debt slaves have no idea. If you go up to a debt slave and say, hey, did you know you can't own equity in a mortgaged house? They would just look at you with a blank look. You know why? Because they have no idea what you just said, even though it's mathematically true. You come to the positive side. This is what I do. Okay. So you guys understand. I bring people over to the positive side of capitalism. I help them participate in capitalism positively. Pay your taxes, Don't do any tax evasion. Don't hide your money. Don't pretend to the IRS that you didn't make this. You're trying to write some dinners off that it really wasn't business, and you don't do any of that. That's what debt slaves do, because they don't understand how it works. So that's why they got people after them doing that stuff. So when you come here and understand that, that goes the same way in your dating world. So when you go in the dating world and you hear, all you got to do is just listen to the people you date. If they're making car payments, you don't date them. If they're talking about their own property and you hear they got a mortgage, they don't know what they're talking about. You can't own property with a mortgage. They don't know that. If you hear them talking about they have equity and you turn to them and say, "Do you have a mortgage?" They say, "Yes." You can't own equity in a mortgage house. That's 100% mathematically impossible. You see what I'm saying? But they don't know that. So I decided I'm gonna do something a little different here. Okay. So my girlfriend brought this to my attention. Okay. Now, every now and then, her and I will sit down and watch this show called Ready to Love. It's like like some kind of dating show, something we do, just watch together and laugh and giggle about it, right? But it's about couples getting together and dating and doing something, whatever, right? It's just a show, okay? Really, it's nothing, just to relax my brain, right? But anyway, these people they get gigs outside of the world. After the show is over, everybody want to interview them. All the people that follow the gossip shit. Now, you guys know I don't follow any of that. Okay. Now I want you to understand. I already went through. I already did the torture for myself as actually watching the video, so I can just pull out the key points, and the key points are the financial points. Now, I don't really care about the gossip stuff that they talk about each other. It really doesn't matter, because that happens 100,000 times a day, every single day in the United States of America. So the only difference is that it's because they've been on the show. That's it, right? So I don't really care. I think the majority of people, this is what you got to understand. When you come to the positive side of the economy, you now understand that the time in your life is the most valuable thing on earth. Time, not money, it's time. And nothing overrides that, right? So you're not going to waste time watching about other people's lives, because you're going to be too busy building your own. So gossip stuff will be instantly uninteresting to you, because you will be wasting your time. The majority of people that watch it are just trying to escape their lives for an hour or two, and then they go back into what they was just watching. The people that they're watching, they figured out how to make money about what's going on in everybody else's life. That's why they adapted to it. Oh yeah, that's happening to me. I know it is. That's why they made a show about it. Now, believe me, like, when you think about these shows, when you come to the positive side, you understand how it works. Okay. So when you think about these type of shows, these reality shows, the people on these shows, they're getting used. They don't know that they're getting used, but they are. And getting memorialized about it forever on the internet for doing what they're doing at this particular time in their lives. And you know who's getting rich? The show makers. Congratulations to them. I guarantee you, they're paying these reality stars peanuts, believe, compared to what they're actually making. Oh man. So this is what we're gonna do. Okay. That's what I'm gonna bring up the first video. All right. Now, if you want to watch the whole video and see what he's talking about, but supposedly, okay, and I don't really, we're gonna stick to the financial part. Now, I want to make sure you understand something. This is nothing negative about the guy in the video. He was one of the people on the show. This is nothing about him. Nothing, no negativity at all. I'm just gonna point out financial things that you can't see when you're on the negative side, in aka the debt matrix. You guys don't know what to listen to. You guys don't know what to hear, because you guys believe certain things are normal. You believe car payments are normal, mortgage payments are normal. You guys think that's normal, but that's only normal for debt slaves to make payments on something they don't own. If you're making payments, that's a red flag that you don't own, because you're sending them your payments are going to the owner. If you're making mortgage payments, they go to the owner. Homeowners don't have payments. That's what makes them homeowners. All right. So let me bring this first video up, okay? And I already, like I said, I already pulled out the points, the time points that I'm gonna go straight to. And if you want to watch the video, the links are in the full, the videos are the links of the full videos are in the description of this video. Okay. All right. So let me bring this up. All right. Let me see. All right. So we're going to go straight to the first one. Again, we are going to, I want to reiterate, we are going to point out, I'm going to give you I'm going to point out the things that when you're on the negative side of the economy, you don't know what to listen for. And I'm going to stop it so you guys can actually hear, because this will help you in your dating life to see if this is the right person you're dating. You don't know financially, the person you're dating, you don't know their financial situation. So if you know what to listen for, you will be able to hear it because they will say things that they believe are normal. Okay. But it's only normal to debt slaves. All right. So the first one is, let's see, 458. So this is my first time doing something like this. I want you guys to bear with me here, okay? So give me a minute here. All right. Come on, arrow. All right. All right. Let's see here. Hold on for a quick second. All right, 1 second here. Gotta make sure this power cord don't stop on me here. All right, let's go.
Academic failures and how slow to learn certain things. Probably primarily reading, writing, and spelling. And so, you know, can't necessarily pinpoint where that derived from, but that's kind of around that time. Parents divorced, and although a second grader, you're what?
Okay, let me give you guys a little bit of background so you don't just be totally lost and say, what is this? Okay, this particular guy and his girlfriend, I'm going to go through the quick gossip of this bull crap, but this guy and this girl that met on the show, they got together. They've been together for the less since 2021. Supposedly, they just broke up. She just moved out of his house. They're in their house, his house right now, and she just moved out that day. So supposedly, he just got on that, whatever day this video is. He got on that day, and he's talking about what happened or why or whatever, right? And now I made a note of this in my phone to kind of give you an idea. He's about to lay the groundwork of why his financial decisions are the way they are. Okay, you don't really, he's not saying that, but I'm trying to explain it to you guys what that means. He's like, I'm telling you this stuff before I tell you the story because I want you to know what may be the cause of what I'm about to tell you that I did to cause the breakup of this relationship. All right.
Well, how old was I? 7, something around that age. I'm devastated, right? Because those are both my heroes, and I knew my father had his flaws, and of course, my mother, I'm sure she had hers as well. Nobody's perfect. But
now this is just my opinion. Okay, I know this has nothing to do with the financial part, but I want you to see things. Okay, he's saying, hey, my parents got divorced. My dad had problems and this and that and blah blah. Well, that divorce is over 50% of America, so it doesn't. I want you guys to understand something. You make sure you listen to these stories and don't get caught up in that and say, oh, that's the reason why I'm doing messed up things financially because of that, right? There's 50% divorce in the USA. Everybody that's parents divorce had problems. They don't grow up to be financially irresponsible. Okay, so don't get into all that. All right.
This is where this kind of all started for me. With the demise of my parents' relationship that I saw. But then on the flip side, I saw a beautiful, glorious
All right, we're gonna
relationship
skip
from
over
a
this
great.
part. I don't want to hear that. I can't. It's already torture enough. All right, let me get to some fun. I'm gonna get to the financial parts because I don't want to talk about stuff that's just my opinion. That's the last thing I want to do because I definitely don't want to get caught up in this nonsense. All right, let me try this one. I got this note said hiding behind things. All right, let's see what this
You're
says.
a kind, beautiful child, loving, smart, intelligent, a superior athlete.
It says,
You are my greatest gift and my greatest prize. So the hell with money, cars, houses, clothes, watches. You're my flex, son.
not sure why. Man, I'm trying to
Just
get to
gotta
these
keep it
points. I'm
real with
sorry,
y'all,
guys.
man. A lot of us out there, man, hiding behind this facade and this
Oh,
mask. For what? For likes.
that's why I did. Okay.
Because basically all we're doing is we want people to envy us so they can feel bad and make us feel better.
You know, okay, I did this part so you guys could see. When you get out of the debt matrix, right? You guys don't understand. A lot of what he's saying is true because you guys think likes and subs and stuff that mean something. They don't mean anything. You guys understand that's a serious addiction. It really is to flick that phone on just to see how many likes or see if somebody commented on something. That's a serious addiction. It's gonna get worse. But when you get out of the debt matrix, you don't really care about that kind of stuff no more because we know where the majority of that stuff comes from. It's from debt slaves, bored, not doing nothing, liking and watching stuff they don't care. But he's kind of telling you that those two probably okay, this is just my opinion because the whole thing really doesn't make any sense to me. I wouldn't be surprised if they set this up their whole selves because that reality star that's temporary. So you got to do something to stay alive. So again, okay, I got to throw my opinion in there. If my woman left me that day, my house, I wouldn't jump on a live and cry and talk about it. That's something that's weird. I don't, and when I say weird, I'm saying not weird like he's weird or nothing. I'm just saying that doesn't make sense. And if that doesn't make sense, that means that there might be something else that's making some money back there. That's just my opinion. All right. So let's go straight to the next point. All right. Because certain things just don't make sense. And when it don't make sense, it's usually not true. So 1940. Let's see. Let's see what they got there.
I was already told I'm going to college. I'm going to college. You're going to college. Right. We're not listening to that. Nothing's wrong with a trade school, but for my son, no. You're going to be the first man in your family to graduate from college. My father used to say that as well.
Now, I saved this part because I wanted to point out something, okay? When you're a debt slave, right, you don't know. All right, let's say, okay, when you're a debt slave, you don't know that you're a debt slave. Therefore, you don't know that you're not going to have money to go to college by the time you're college age. You're not, okay? Because nobody told you, hey, you're going to go. Like, if you're young and you're listening to this, I want you to remember this, okay? If you got everybody around you telling you that you're going to go to college, you're going to go to college, you got to turn around and say, well, who's going to pay for it? Who's going to pay for that college? Or you could say, mom, dad, uncle, aunts, whoever's telling you that you're going to go to college, you turn to them and say, do you still have your college loans? If they say yes, you say, why? Why? How long did you go to college? They're going to say 4 years. But your college, but that was over 20 years ago. What are you still doing with them? Guess what? They're not going to have, young people, an answer. They're not going to have an answer. You're going to imagine all the pressure that's put on kids. Hey, you're going to go to college. You're going to go to college. Those kids don't even know what they want to go to college for. But guess what they're going to do? Borrow student loan money to do it, because now they believe not only do they got the pressure of society, they got the pressure of their whole family. You're going to go to college, else you ain't going to be shit. Guess what they're going to do? Go get student loans. All those people putting pressure on them, none of them telling them how to get out of student loan debt or pay it off. None of them. No, how do I, hey, everybody putting pressure on me to go to college. How do I pay this stuff off? No answers, crickets. So that's why I saved this part for you guys listening. Here he is, a star, or well, you know what I mean. All right, so let's go to 23 real quick. This is my first time. Bear with me. I'm just trying something new, just something different. Let's see.
I laugh at that every year, but it's still it draws me back to the insecurities. So I get to college. I go to JUCO first because I'm a non-qualifier out of high school, and I've lied to people about that. I lied to people and said I went to junior college just because I wanted to test the waters before I went D1.
And see, a lot of people do that. I want you guys to really understand that. People lie about certain things. And you got to remember, again, when you come on this side of the capitalism, that's easy to see because you ask them later. Because you got to remember, people that lie about their life, that means they got to keep up with the lie. So when they tell you something, which will not make sense, okay, you got to understand, debt slaves lie about a lot of things, but they don't know that they're debt slaves. So they don't know their lies will not make any financial sense at all. Nothing will add up, nothing. So he's out here living reality star life, lying to people. That stuff comes back to you. Why are you lying? For who are you lying for? I don't do none of that. I don't lie to nobody about anything, especially a debt slave. Especially a debt slave.
Cap. We didn't call it cap then. I'm lying. Because I cared about what people thought.
Let me see, 36.
People's opinion of me. Because people didn't, outside of my family, people didn't think much. Oh, I'm sorry. Then I went back. I think I tried to go back for like another month. I'm sorry. I'm jumping around. Anyway, so I get married, and we're living a decent life. But my decisions now I'm in debt with this chiropractic loans, right? And I try to figure out. I'll figure it out. That's years from now. I have to start paying it back. I'll be fine. I'll figure it out. Start coaching. Blah blah blah. Then we get married, and I didn't tell my wife at the time what was going on financially. Here's where the story goes. This is where I'm freeing myself of this. I'm freeing myself of money mismanagement. I'm freeing myself of lying.
So at this part, he really saying he went to school, and it sounds like he didn't finish. And now he's got student loan debt. And listen, this happens all the time. I want people to really understand this, debt slaves, what you're doing when you don't really check, okay? He lied to his ex-wife about having student loan debt, financial infidelity right there, financial infidelity. Gets married, and then she finds out he has a couple $100,000 in student loan debt. What does a person do in that situation? You get married, and okay, let's pause it right here. If you understand dating minus debt and you come over here to SMD, 99% chance that will never happen to you. You will never marry somebody without knowing financially what they do. You'll never in a million years ever do that. That won't happen to you. You will pause that. Shout out to Ike, sir. Thank you, sir. I am tricking for likes, subs, and attention. Thank you, sir. Long time no see. Thank you very much, sir. Much appreciated, man. I really do. Really do. Can you imagine how many times? Imagine, let's not even stop at student loan debt. This is why I'm doing this, so you guys can understand the language. Imagine you're with somebody for years, or you actually married. Let's just go straight to married, and you married them. And then you find out they have $250,000 in student loan debt. that they didn't tell you about. What do? You're like, so like you're like 5 years in, you guys decided, oh, this is a good time to go buy a house, right? This is when people find out, when they go make big purchases together. Oh, sorry, you're not approved. Why not? Your husband has $250,000 in student loan debt. Shout out to Nick Penn for the 1999 super chat. Thank you, sir. Always appreciate it. Alien Invasion Fund. Thank you very much. You don't know. Hey, listen, you don't know if you're marrying somebody in IRS trouble, IRS collections. That won't happen to you. Dating minus debt, that kind of stuff doesn't happen. Okay. All in, you got your feelings involved. Okay, babe, we're gonna work this out together. No, you can't. You can't. 250,000 in debt and student loan debt, and with no degree, you can't. That person should have took care of that a long time ago. Let's see. Let's go to 38. Let me see where else I'm at. 38:45.
I never saw that. So the financial strain ultimately led to our demise of a 10-year marriage. She felt threatened by the uncertainty and instability of me now, because now I'm a teacher not making much. I have over $100,000 in debt that she did not know about. She felt that she could not be protected, led.
Look at where he says that. She felt that. What do you mean she felt? That's you. What are you talking about? See how, I want you to understand something. See how they're still focused on the other person? She felt, what do you mean she felt? What are you talking about? You had 100,000 that you did, over 100,000 in student loan debt you didn't tell her about. That doesn't even make any sense. That kind of stuff won't happen to you. When you come, listen, when you understand, when you do what it takes to come understand dating minus debt, you understand what it means to own yourself. That stuff doesn't happen. If they come up to you in a nice car and they mention a car payment, they're a debt slave. They're making car payments. It doesn't care. It doesn't matter what kind of car they're driving. It doesn't matter what kind of car they're making payments on. They're a debt slave that doesn't know you're not supposed to finance cars.
Or taken care of. And I get it. That's what women are conditioned to do.
Look at it. Look at it. Let's hear this one more time so you guys can understand the language, okay?
That's
so you can understand it. Let's go back.
Being in relationships, always been a relationship. Why not? Play the field. She felt threatened. The financial strain ultimately led to our demise of a 10-year marriage. She felt threatened by the uncertainty and instability of me now, because now I'm a teacher not making much. I have over $100,000 in debt that she did not know about. She felt that she could not be protected, led, or taken care of. And I get it. That's what women are conditioned to do.
Now, it's not, I'm not just saying him. There's millions of people that think like that. You guys got to understand that. Why? It wasn't, I thought you'd be mad, they'll come up with somebody hide $100,000 worth of debt from you, and then you find out years later, and then they try to switch it on you. Oh, I didn't tell you because I thought you'd be mad at me, or you didn't like me. Of course. Now, what are you supposed to do? Everything changes in a relationship. People don't really understand. Financial infidelity is just as bad as physical infidelity. Mental infidelity, it's all the same. It counts on what you believe it is. Everything starts mental, everything. But anyway, it's bananas how people just think. That won't happen to you. If you go out on a date, find out if they have student loans, if they're making car payments. See if they're financing the phone that they have in their hand at the dinner table that they keep looking at during dinner. If I ever went out on a date and and the girl would look at her phone, I would leave. I wouldn't say a word. I would just get up and leave. Where you going? Bye. I'm not explaining nothing. Let me get to the next one.
And lied about and projected to people. And I told her I'm going to change man. And we get in this relationship, and she's giving me all the grace that I need. She's like, I know at this point I'm working for myself.
Let me hurry up because
I
I
quit
can't
another
really
dealership,
stand
working for
this
myself,
gossip
doing the
stuff.
car
I don't want to.
guides,
I'm
and
just trying something.
selling
Okay,
these
this is a
celebrities.
trial. I want you guys thinking this is normal because this gossip stuff.
I've got
drives
so
me
much
bananas.
debt spread out because I'm in so much debt. It's cars that I can't afford a month.
Okay, hold on. Let's get to this part.
Credit is a 500 credit. My house ain't in my name, and I want to be better. I want to free from the cap. I work hard, and I made great money. I've lost it. I've made it, and I've lost it again. And I'm at rock bottom. My house ain't in my name. It's in my mama's name. My car is in my mama's name. My credit is a 500 credit score. I've got so much debt spread out.
Now I'm gonna give you guys the premise of what's about to happen. Okay, this is the interview of him, and then after this, we're gonna go to the interview of her. Okay, and I want you to understand, she's a financial. She keeps saying it. Oh, I want you guys to remember this. She's gonna keep saying it over and over and over. They dated for almost 2 years, right? And she's a financial expert, lawyer, or something. Now he's telling us everything about his finances. My 500 credit score, student loans, housing. I've been telling everybody this is my house, but it's in my mama's name. You mean to tell me you're a financial expert and you didn't know that? You was with somebody for 2 years and you didn't know they were a debt slave. That doesn't make sense. Okay, that doesn't make sense. When it doesn't make sense, it's usually not true. That's why I'm pointing out these
can't
things.
make ends meet.
Are they doing this for money?
I'm
Because it doesn't
selling
make
my
sense.
house right now because I'm in so much debt. That I've lied to all these people, and I went and got all these cars that I can't afford a month. I got another car that I can't afford a month. I got this house I can't afford a month. All this stuff that I'm paying out, and I'm in over $250,000 worth of debt.
Yeah, let me point that out too. I want you guys to understand something, the importance of this, okay? He's like, just like Luminov said, if the house and car is his mother's name, does that mean he's dragging his own? He is. Do you know what that says? That says his mother doesn't know. His mother is also a debt slave. That's what that means. That's what that means. That means his mother is a debt slave too. Because if my kid ever came to me and said, "Hey, Dad, can you put my house and your car and my car in your name?" I'd say, "Hell no, you ain't doing that. Why are you trying to do that?" I was like, "Are you crazy? You're bananas." No, and it's like this is what people don't really understand. This is debt slave logic, and this is like drug dealer logic, right? Hey man, I'm not gonna put nothing in my name. I'm gonna put it in my mama's name. I'm gonna put this car. So you're gonna put a Porsche in your mom's name. You think that's gonna fool the IRS? Is that what you guys think? I'm not gonna put that Porsche in my name. I'm gonna put it in my mama's name. They'll never know. They'll never know what. What are you talking about? They will. This is all they got to do is just go to the mom and say, "Hey, we're gonna put you in prison if you don't tell us who did this." You got to be a cold cat to let your mama go to prison over a car. You see what I'm saying? All right, let's get to it. Okay, this is what I want to get to. I'm gonna get past this. I don't feel like talking about this crap. All right.
But next time you see me, I'm gonna have an Apple Watch on. All I need is the time and to check my pulse. Like when I can get a Rolex, I'm going to be able to afford a Rolex within my budget, and after having a retirement and having to pay for my child's private school and make sure my wife's taken care of and make sure the mortgage is paid.
Let me make sure you guys understand something. Absolutely none of that is going to happen if he doesn't pay off that student loan debt first. You can't say this is what you guys don't understand, debt slaves. Okay, when you come to the positive side, I'm telling you, if you want to get out of 99% of that dating bullshit, come over here to Dating Minus Debt. I will show you the way. You cannot do any of what he's talking about with over $100,000 in student loan debt. That has to be paid off first. You can't save for retirement. You can't buy a house. You can't buy a car. You can't go on vacation. You can't invest in the stocks and bonds and cryptocurrency. If your student loan debt is your oldest debt, if your student loan debt is your oldest debt, I'm talking to you. Now you got to be honest with yourself. Is my student loan debt my oldest debt? If it is, I'm talking to you. Yes, I'm talking to you, the one that doesn't talk about their student loan debt and pretending like they own everything. You probably got a big house, nice car, jewelry, Rolex, this and that, telling everybody you got equity, but you're not telling everybody your student loan debt is your oldest debt, which means you own nothing. If you got student loan debt, that's why you have a mortgage, because you have student loan debt. You can't buy a house. You cannot own a house when your student loan debt is older than the mortgage. You can't do that. Let's see, where we at here?
And I have assets. The only asset I have is this home.
Look, see, let's repeat that. I want
not
to be
lie
clear.
to you, not wear fake Rolex, not wear fake diamonds. For what? Next time you see me, I'm gonna have an Apple Watch on. All I need is the time and to check my pulse. Like when I can get a Rolex, I'm going to be able to afford a Rolex within my budget, and after having a retirement and having to pay for my child's private school and make sure my wife's taken care of and make sure the mortgage is paid. And I have assets. The only asset I have is this home.
Okay, let me explain something to you, debt slaves, okay, that you guys don't know. All right. Now I'm going to say this how it is, okay? Hold up. I did not know that. Hold on just a second here. I'm going to say it how it is, okay? Capitalism is psychological, split into two parts, positive and negative, okay? Words in the financial world are also positive and negative. So when you hear the word asset is positive and or negative. Why is it and or? Because it depends on who's using the word it depends on who's using the word asset, which makes it the or. So we already know, he just told us, listen, he just told us this house he's in is in his mama's name under a mortgage. So that's not his at all in any form or fashion. So he is talking about a negative asset. So if you believe, like right now, if you believe your house is an asset and you know you have a mortgage, okay, you believe, oh yeah, my house is, you're saying it to yourself every day. Open up your calculator, put in your mortgage payment minus your mortgage balance and hit equal. You see that large negative number? You're talking about negative asset, okay? People that have houses with no mortgages, that's called positive asset. You see the difference? You're both calling it asset. Hey, my house is an asset. You stand next to two people, right? One with a mortgage, they both have houses. Both of them thinking their houses is an asset. Well, excuse me. One of them knows their house is an asset. The other one doesn't, because that's the psychological part. Debt slaves don't know. A house is not an asset for you if you didn't have the money to buy it. So that's called negative asset.
And I have to leverage my asset to get my ass out of the dumb, dark, deep hole that I've created. I got all these people tricked. Or some people some people will say, oh yeah, I knew it was all cap.
And what you guys don't know, you see how he's describing everything? Oh, this is my house. It's in my mama's name. I can't barely afford it. You know what that tells me? Subprime mortgage. He has a subprime mortgage. Because you guys don't understand. Say it like this. When a person like him, because his name is probably on it, but he's not the main person. Okay. He's probably like the person on the deed with the mama, but well, you got to remember when two people like that go to the bank, what's the first thing they're going to do is run their credit. This is what you guys don't understand though. Let me give you guys we're going to take you guys to an advanced part of the positive side of the economy. What you guys don't know, and this is for the dating minus debt people. I want you guys to understand the power of it, how your dating life will change forever. So you don't get caught up in all that, right? Your credit reports are owner ledgers. They keep track of all the businesses that own you. Credit scores are reward points. They reward you for staying in, the owners reward you for staying in debt with them. They say, here you go. Here's a reward point for staying in debt with your owners. As soon as two people like that go to the bank and apply for a mortgage or do whatever they do, if they are, soon as you realize they offer you a subprime mortgage, you should automatically know that you're a debt slave right away. They already know what you're trying to do. Why is this person putting it into mama's name and all this other crap? They already know why you're doing it, and they already know you're never going to own it. They're just taking a little bit of scraps of money that you have. You're coming in, you're putting the house into mama's name, but they already know why you're doing that, because only debt slaves do stuff like that. You come across somebody, you're on a date, and they own a car. They said this is their car, this is their house, but it's not in their name. That's a red flag right away. You should look into that. Why? Immediately you say, why isn't this car in your name? Why isn't your phone in your name? Why isn't your house in your name? And listen to their excuse. Oh, because of this, that, goodbye. That's the last call. That's the last date. Excuse me. All right, let's get to some stuff here. Let's get to 112.
With finding out, this new business venture, this new debt, her not knowing about this, and her being so disappointed, I've had to cancel trips that I promised her because I couldn't afford it. I had to back out on birthdays, the first wedding, and just recently I came to her looking at our impending Labor Day wedding. I can't afford it. I'm selling my house right now to get out of debt and to pay for this wedding. Because
now I want you guys to think about something. You think he gonna have enough money to pay for a wedding after he sells the house in his mama's name and with a subprime mortgage? No, he's not. No, he's not. He is absolutely not. I promise you that. Even to say that out loud, I have to sell this house to pay for a wedding. That means you shouldn't be getting married. That's what that means. That's exactly what. But when you don't know that, right? Listen, when you don't know that, you say stuff like that. That's the difference. The psychological is a language that very few people know. Very few people. When you talk about assets, you turn to the person and say, do you have a mortgage? If they say yes, they're talking about the word asset negatively. They're talking about negative asset. Now, here's the psychological part. They don't know that. They don't know financial words are positive and negative. They don't. So when you walk up to two people and they say, hey, I'm a homeowner, now you got to figure out who's talking about negative homeowner and who's talking about positive homeowner. This is all you got to say. Man, just say something odd, because it's very odd to ask a debt slave, hey, man, how much is your mortgage? They're not going to really tell you that. So you say something like, are mortgages pretty high in the neighborhood or whatever, right? Because the person that owns their house, they're going to say, I don't know. I don't know how much mortgage. I don't know how much mortgages are around in the area. I don't know because I own my house. But a person that does have a mortgage, they're going to say, well, it's not too bad. That's where, they talk about negative homeowner immediately. They don't know that they just told you that. Okay. That's the psychological part, because they believe they can buy a house with a mortgage. Debt slaves don't know it takes one day to buy a house. It doesn't take years. It doesn't take 30 years. It doesn't take 40 years. It doesn't take 5 years. It doesn't take 10 years. It takes one day. But if they knew that, the housing market wouldn't exist. You see what I mean? So they have to believe that. I understand how it works. I totally get it, understand it. I don't care that, listen, I don't care that people believe that they own a mortgaged asset. That's called business. I give this gift to you to come to the positive side to capitalize on that because that's what they believe. He's saying it in the video. Hey, this is my asset. And right after telling us that the house is in his mama's name and he believes it's an asset. That's what I mean.
Because I owe it to you.
Right, right. Ike promising trips. Now, remember, we're going to go to this lady, right? And she's a financial lawyer. Oh, she keeps bragging about it and this and that. I'm thinking, if I'm with somebody dating and they're canceling trips, I'm going to ask why they cancel it. What's the problem? Finances. What do you mean finances? What happened? What's causing what? Tell me what's happening, right? You got to know. But listen, when you come to the positive side of the economy, you won't even get that far. It happens over the phone, you guys. Do you guys understand? You know how much time you're going to be saving yourself when you come to understanding dating minus debt? You're going to save so much as soon as you, hey, what's up? Because first is physical attraction. You know nothing about them. They look good. You look good. You see what they're driving. You see how they're dressed, right? And then you pass phone numbers, and then you get on the phone. Excuse me. You start texting and getting on the phone, and you ask basic questions. You know, just hey, where you work. What kind of car, where you live? Are you a homeowner? Blah, blah, blah. Because debt slaves love bragging like paying on a mortgage because they're not throwing away money on rent. They don't know it's the same. Debt slaves don't know rent payments and mortgage payments are both the same. They don't know that. So they'll tell you that, oh yeah, I'm a homeowner. Yeah. And then oh, was pretty big house is pretty expensive. Oh, my mortgage wasn't too bad. Oh, right there. There you go. You're getting to know a person. Listen, this is what you need to understand. You're about to get to know a person that believes they are a homeowner with a mortgage. Now you got to figure out if they got student loan debt. You got hey, this is how you do that. Man, I sure hope the president gets rid of $20,000. If they get excited about it and oh man, I hope so too, because they have student loan debt. Why? Because only people in student loan debt care about the student loan debt relief stuff. That's the only people that do. People that do not have student loan debt don't pay attention to that. All right, so let's go to the woman. Let's go to the woman here. All right, so share screen. Is this it? Okay, here it is. All right, so I pointed at, we're going to go straight to the bullet points on this one. Again, it's in the description if you guys want to actually watch it. So, and I'm not saying I'm going to ever do this again. I don't know. I'm just testing this. Okay.
You just want to make sure.
Now here is his ex-girlfriend. Okay. Now they met on the show Ready to Love season 3, I believe, something like that. Right. So this is his girlfriend, and she supposedly, like, again, this kind of stuff really, when you're not in that world anymore, let me tell you, when you guys are not in the gossip world anymore, you will see a lot of things for what they are. Is this a setup? Are they just doing it? Because you got to remember, none of this is illegal. Okay. They can make up any story they want. I want you guys to clearly understand that it is not illegal to make up stories. Okay. All right.
No, correction. We were not monogamous until August of 21.
Okay, so we've almost done 2 years.
Right.
I want to know.
Okay, so they've been together. Now remember, that's key. They've been together 2 years or under, just under, whatever, right? 2 years. And she is an attorney who is a financial, quote, expert. All right, let's go.
In your words, what was the reason for this breakup? In your words, what is the reason for the breakup?
The reason was because he asked me to elope. Initially, I said, yeah, I'd be fine with that. I love you. I'll marry you at the courthouse tomorrow. And then I slept on it. And I realized the real reason he wanted to elope is he didn't have his $10,000. He didn't have his contribution for the wedding that he promised to have by the time deposits were due.
So they're dating almost 2 years or over 2 years. he doesn't have the money. Now, remember, he said he's canceling dates and birthdays during the relationship the whole time. And here we are. Now, these are the things that don't make sense. Okay. So you guys can't see it. Okay. So that's why I'm bringing them out so you guys can understand. If he's canceling dates throughout the dating life of their relationship, why would she be surprised that he doesn't have the 10,000 during the weddings? You see, that doesn't make sense. All right.
So for me, the reason for the breakup was financial infidelity, saying that you were going to stick with our financial plan, grow with me financially in a way. And ultimately you did not once, not twice, but multiple times.
Now, you said obviously that he wanted.
Okay. Thank you for clearing that up for me, Reigning Woman. Thank you. Much appreciated. I mean that. Thank you. Because I don't like saying things about people that I didn't. I'll do better saying stuff.
To elope, and originally I watched on your channel, on your connection with Kamisha when you guys did a review yesterday, and you said that you were potentially at one point you were looking to elope. So what changed that became the reason as to what part of the reason why this became a breakup and not you guys continuing to try to make this things were not necessarily adding up.
It's show, so you can, but you know.
That you decide to proceed further along in the relationship with Rashid.
Oh, sure. So first I decided to proceed because based on what I looked at, it wasn't that bad. It was cool, and the explanation for why he had the debts that he had, it made sense. They basically were all from failed businesses. One was a franchise business. Another was an auto-related business.
Okay, so let me clear something up, okay? I want to clear something up. Now, I want you guys to make sure you understand there's a difference between personal debt and business debt. I am not against business debt. I want to make sure that's clear. I am only talking about personal debt. So right now, she just mentioned business debt from failed businesses. Nothing's wrong with it. That happens every day. Not a big deal. Not everybody who starts a business is successful. It happens. So don't count that against, should have she known that? Yes. But, you know, I would ask, okay, how come it failed? You know, I still would, even though failed is not a big deal, I still would want to know, if I'm gonna get with a person, I would want to know why their business failed. Did they just quit or something happened, wrong area, stuff like that happens. All right.
And then from that, we developed a plan. So for example, I saw multiple credit card collections, things that would come through. Well, I literally do that for a living. I either represent credit card companies that are trying to collect in court or vice versa. So I started representing him, went to court, got him dismissed. I mean, and he owed this, it was stuff he actually owed. It made.
See, this is what, now I want you guys to understand something about coming to the positive side of the economy. This is very important. When you come on this side and you understand how it works, not only is it important to follow all the laws, the financial laws and everything, your integrity counts too. Now, I want you guys to listen to what she just said. She said she's an attorney. She represented him in court to get some of his debts removed. And then she says, even the ones he actually created. Why would you do that? Do you know you're hurting yourself? You're not helping your man if you're getting rid of debts that he created. Like, even if she's obviously, if she's able to say it out loud, she obviously did it legally. I'm just talking about morally. I'm not saying if you could do it legally, go right ahead. I'm just saying, if you're in a relationship with a person and if you go into court and you get rid of their debts that they actually created, you're not helping them at all. You're making things worse because they don't know why they don't know why they got into the financial trouble they did. Now to hear her say that, and he actually did it, then what? And you're saying that out loud publicly? Do you know people are following you that do have integrity and morals? Like, what are you doing? Even though listen, that's my opinion. Okay. But I would not brag about paying off somebody, getting rid of somebody's debt that they created. You know what I'm saying?
Me feel good to be able to help in that way. I also understand, like, he was very clear to me that this is why my last marriage failed. And I am adamant that I don't want another failed marriage. So I'm adamant about doing better. So basically, he had no idea that I could actually get his credit card stuff dismissed, even though he owed that shit. Like, stuff
Okay.
Crazy.
So I mean, listen, you as a woman of action, and again, I want to just commend you because I said on my live yesterday, you know, that when you get someone like you and who comes into your life and is willing to fight with you, ride or die with you, you know, and you spoil it and you fumble that bag, that's gonna haunt you. You know what I mean? Now,
oh, and I
Mhm.
forgot. I even like he had all these student loan debt from. He talks about like going to grad school and quitting. I even managed to calculate and submit all the information so that if he works for any nonprofit for 2 more years, that $100,000 will be forgiven. Like you can,
You know, let me tell you guys something, okay? And if you guys watch the video on yourself, I'm gonna point out some things you guys should watch for. To me, it sounds like she's doing a lot of promotion for her business. And again, there's nothing wrong with it. But if you really listen to that video and try to tone down just the gossip and just listen, it really does sound like she's trying to push for her business. Oh, I did this and I got rid of, and I really, the way she said that right now, I got him signed up for this thing. And if he can get, well, if she's saying that, I'm assuming that it's legally possible, right? I've never heard of that, but I'm not an attorney either, so I don't know. I'm sure that if you pay somebody, a good lawyer can probably get around some things, right? If it's true that she can get rid of debt that a person actually created, I was like, that's possible. I did not know that was possible.
what's her name? Really be Crystal that does Really Be TV. Like I helped her get her student loans forgiven.
See, you're right, Herbert. She's like, listen. She goes to another. Look at it. She goes to another one. Watch this.
Crystal that does Really Be TV will be forgiven. Like he works for any nonprofit for 2 more years, that $100,000 will be forgiven. Like you can, what's her name? Really be Crystal that does Really Be TV. Like I helped her get her student loans forgiven as a school teacher. I helped him do his. So I'm kind of like, great. Okay, I'm not gonna.
So you guys got to listen, right? If you're not paying it, if you don't understand how it works, that's why I think. Listen, again, this is my opinion. I think this whole thing is set up. I really do, because she's promoting her business. Are you supposed to be hurt? You guys just broke up. What are you talking about? Hey, I did this. You know what? I got my boy. Listen, you hear the way she said that? I got my boyfriend's debts removed, even though he did it. How many debt slaves you think heard that shit? She did what? She got debts removed that he actually owed. Her phone's probably ringing off the hook. Why? Because debt slaves don't want to pay their bills. Which will what? Will make you remain a debt slave until you're dead, because you don't want to pay the debts that you created. So you go hire a lawyer that gets rid of them, and guess what you're going to do? Go create more debts. That's what you guys do. You guys do the shit over and over and over. Here she is. She's telling us that she's going to get rid of her man's debt, even though he paid it. What you think was going to happen? He was going to get worse. Because now he's going to be like, oh, my debts are gone. My credit score went up, because debt slaves, you guys are so focused on the debts, the credit score, you guys don't realize what it's for, to get into more debt. You don't know. It's like this. I just want to say to her, you don't know by getting your man's debts removed that he actually created actually makes it worse.
Off 100K here. You know, I'm knocking off 40K here. We got a plan, boo boo. I helped him do his. So I'm kind of like, great. Okay, I'm knocking off 100K here. You know, I'm knocking off 40K here. We got a plan, boo boo.
See the way she threw that? I'm knocking off 100K here. No, he doesn't. He's got to follow through to that plan. You create it, say, hey, which is not a big deal. Okay, you just go to a nonprofit, say, hey, I want to sign up for student loan forgiveness after blah blah. But he obviously can't follow through on anything. So you think he's going to follow through on a 2-year plan? You think that's going to happen? It's not. But see the way she said it? I'm knocking off 100,000 here. No, you didn't. You didn't knock off 100,000 of anything. That's up to the U.S. Department of Education. Okay.
So there was actually you had the wheels turning in a way that would have had him in a much better financial position in order to really take advantage and build an empire with yourself. Is that what you're kind of describing in that sense?
Yeah, correct.
Okay. I mean,
Now, if you watch this, you would think that, oh, look, she's a lawyer. She got her shit together and this and that. And when she says, if you watch the video, she says she owns all this stuff. Remember, the word own is positive and negative. What does she mean by own? I own these properties. Is she talking about own with a mortgage, or is she talking about own with cash? That's what you guys don't understand. You don't know if she's talking. So you got to listen. If she's talking, if she mentioned mortgage payments or anything, she's talking about own with a mortgage. That's called negative own. You can't own with a loan. Okay.
that makes sense. So I want to ask you a question. This is more for yourself then. Simone, you are excellent. You're amazing. You're wonderful. You know, you're witty, you're intelligent.
How do you know all that? How you know all that? You know her? Okay.
I think you're very honest as well. And I love that about you. In looking back at the situation, I know it's only been a few days, so it's still fresh. In looking back at the situation.
Now, remember, it's only been a few days. She's still hurt. Okay. Remember that.
Do you like taking on projects? Because as much, you know what I mean? Like, I just want to, yeah, go for it. You want to answer, go for it.
I'm codependent.
All right, let me go to the next
That's
one.
how mine shows up. So he's already said when had a marriage of years and years of just horrible financial situations, I am talking about this not to bash him, but I want to highlight what he's already said, which is it comes for a reason. Like I see him no different than I see a gambler, but I'm not going to enable. And it's okay if you don't want to enable. And it's also okay if you just decide, I'm sorry, mom. I'm sorry, dad. I'm sorry, anybody else who's living vicariously through me. I'm sorry, but this thing I got to do for me because I deserve to be happy too. And I shouldn't just spend my time trying to make everybody else happy and wait. I am tired of waiting for my happiness. I actually don't really treat me like Paris Hilton. Treat me like a David Lowery, Caucasian lady with a poodle. Treat me like her. Most of the time, probably not. But there was nothing that I wouldn't wanted that he wouldn't get for me. It was just, is he getting it from within the plan or is he fudging around the plan? So I think overall, just him being a great person. And I think
the tears, I know, right?
At his friends that surround him, they are a testament to what a great person he is by saying, all right, we're not doing that no more.
You know, when you got, like I said, if you're into that kind of stuff, go ahead and watch it. Okay. I'm not, but this is what I want you guys to understand. When I was listening to her, now you guys remember that when you know capitalism is psychological and positive and negative, you listen very differently. So she sounds like she really does know how to navigate the system, right? Because if you take the time to listen, she says one time, she says, oh, he was even an employee of my company. So that means she understands how to set it up for tax purposes. That's the reason, because there's certain ways you can set up things, everything legal, all legal, that it sounds like to me, right? But when she says things, but certain things as a financial person doesn't make sense. Okay. But I understand that. Cool. That's great for business, because I can imagine how many clients she get if she can get debts dismissed from people that know they created them. She probably gets a lot of business, but I wouldn't do that for a person that I'm with, because that means they don't know. Like if you're going to pay somebody to remove a debt that you created, that means you're not going to learn anything. That means you're going to create some new ones and it's going to happen again. So I wouldn't be involved with a person and turn to him, even if that was my specialty. I would not be doing that for the person I'm with. That would not happen. This is why I say, when you understand what dating minus debt means, You won't be caught up in stuff like that because you won't date debt slaves. The dating world becomes quiet. Honestly, I could be the best dating coach in the United States of America. I could teach dating coaches. You could either learn if you're a dating coach and you don't know capitalism is psychological, split into two parts, positive and negative, I can help you become the best dating coach in the United States of America. I can either train you or be one. There will be no dating coach like you. Let me tell you something. What this dating service would be, it would be for people with money that understand the value of time. That's what my service would be. Who it would be for? People that understand the value of time. Skip all the bullshit. They want all the bullshit removed. Have a dating service that you can only apply here if you're not in personal debt. You know how much time that would save people with money they want to be with somebody, but they just don't want all the bullshit? You know how much a person with money would pay for my service if I could vet a person that they don't have any personal debts? That's like step one, because people with money don't want to explain that part. Because you got to understand, when you understand this part, that capitalism is psychological, it doesn't matter how a person looks, what kind of job they have, how much money they make, what school they went to, what part of town they grew up in, who their parents are. If they're a debt slave, they're a debt slave. It doesn't matter. Especially if they don't even know that they are. It's never going to change. That means 9 times out of 10, they're going to die one. There are so many channels everywhere talking about who to date, where to go, leave the country, and this and that. You guys don't know who you're getting are you getting your dating advice from a debt slave? Listen, if you're getting your dating advice from a person who's making car payments, you're getting the wrong advice. If you're getting dating advice from a person with 20-year-old student loans, you are getting the wrong advice. Those are perspectives. We all live in the same world. This is what you guys got to understand, okay? When it comes to money, there's only one perspective, and that's the mathematical one, period. There are millions of different perspectives of our economy when there always has been one, and that's the mathematical one, period. So if you come across dating and you listen and you understand this, there's only one. It doesn't matter how a person feels about it. There's only one. And you go on a date and you hear them just talk about money, because people like debt slaves, you guys like to impress each other with shit on dates, clothes, cars, houses, blah, blah, blah. But you guys don't know, if you're making payments on it, it doesn't matter. None of it matters. None of it. If you're making whatever you're making payments on, whatever it is irrelevant, because it's you. Can you imagine the profit margin of building a house that you can build in 30 days and keep somebody in there for 30 years? Can you even calculate that much profitability? No, I can't. I don't know what that is. I don't even know if my calculator goes that high. Now, you're probably thinking to yourself, well, LJ, if I don't date anybody that has debt, I won't be dating nobody. Yeah, that's the time to be by yourself first. Be by yourself. Now, when you hear the word alone or be by yourself or it sounds like torture. It's like, oh my God, and then you got to stop and listen to yourself. I just told myself that I cannot be alone by myself. You can't be alone there lies the problem. If you can't be alone by yourself, there lies the problem. You can't be by yourself. I love being by myself. I could be days by myself. It doesn't matter. I can go out and I can go walk by myself. I can go work out by myself. I can go to movies by myself. It doesn't bother me. I don't care. I love it. Only debt slaves believe alone is something wrong. You know, it's like this. It's like this. When you say like an older man is in an older man or woman, because I don't want you guys thinking this has anything to do with gender, because the debt slaves will make you believe it has something to do with gender, and it doesn't. Are they a debt slave or not? Period. If they're a debt slave, it doesn't matter what they look like. It doesn't matter how good the sex is. It doesn't matter. It doesn't even matter. This just popped in my mind. I could be an excellent dating coach, unlike any other in the history of the world. Do you understand that? If you're a dating coach and you're listening to me, listen. I'm not saying I'm better than you. I want your job. I'm telling you something. I know something that can make you the best dating coach and one of the best dating coaches in the United States of America. All these books out now. Hey, women for Venus and men are from Mars. All that is bullshit. Is the person a debt slave or not? Oh, divorce is over 50% because of money. No, it's not. It's because of debt. Because debt slaves are marrying debt slaves and making more debt. You don't have, do you guys know that's a perspective? You don't have to be part of that. You don't have to be part of the divorce rate and the average car payment and the average problem, being in court and being a weekend daddy. You don't have, that's a perspective of the world. You don't have to be part of that. When you're in it, it seems like it's a large part of the world. It seems like that, right? But when you're not in it, you know that it's not. Because say like you're in it right now, you're in the court, you're going to groups, like you don't know, you're putting yourself in that perspective of the world. If you're in it and then you get on podcast, because there's about 15 million podcasts that will bash women. And if you're in that perspective at your baby's mama, guess where you're going? You're going into that perspective of all the podcasts. All those people, they don't know why they're there. They don't have, oh my God, the system is against men. Well, there's one more option. What's that? Don't be in it. You don't have to be part of that. That's what the men that are in it, they don't know that. They're in it. They don't know they have the option. Hell, I didn't know that was an option when I was in it. Now that I'm out of it, now I realize I put myself in it. That was an option for me and I chose it. If you know, like say like this, you're a young man, you don't have any kids right now, and you know the system is against you, then don't be part of it. If you already know before you have kids that the system is against men, don't be part of the system that is against men. If you already know, that's a choice. You could choose not to be part of it. Oh man, sometimes things just happen, whatever. But I guarantee you that's true. That is true. But if you want to minimize your chances of being part of that type of system, don't date debt slaves. This goes for men and women. If they're making, if you see them not answer their phone, like they're avoiding calls or whatever, like bill collectors, you don't date people that are running from bill collectors. You don't do that. That's problems. All you got to do is you got to, here, I'm gonna give you guys some psychological terms that you can say to recognize that they're debt slaves without knowing why you're asking. Are you a homeowner? We already went over homeowners positive and negative. If they mention mortgage, they're talking about negative homeowner. If you hear anybody mention equity, 9 times out of 10, they're talking about a mortgage. They're talking about negative equity. They don't know that they're talking about negative equity, negative homeowner. They don't know that. So you just ask those type of questions. Nice car. My Nick came up with this one. Hey, nice car, man. My uncle's looking to get one, man. Are the car payments? I know I'm saying it wrong, Nick. I apologize. But hey, man, the car payments are. He wants to know and I have an idea about what the car payment will be. A debt slave will be happy to tell you. Oh, it's around $700. Okay, that's all I need to know. You finance the car, debt slave. You want to figure, hey, listen, are you trapped up in this dating world right now and you just don't know who to trust and who to figure out? And what I can help you solve 99% of your problems. If you don't listen, if you don't know capitalism is psychological, positive, and negative, I can solve 99% of your problems, your dating problems. Now, I know you're thinking, oh, what? That ain't got nothing to do with feelings and love. Yes, it does. Love is positive. I bet you don't know love is positive and negative too. Let's come over to the emotional side so you guys can understand that part too. Because I know when you guys listen, you hear about money. You're like, money, it doesn't have nothing to do with money and love. Let's go back over on the other side, what you'll know too, the psychological part that you don't know. The word love is positive and negative too. You're probably thinking, well, what does that mean? Say like you're in a relationship and the person that says they love you fucks around on you. And they say they love you. That's called negative love. That's not, because people in positive love don't do that. You understand? You see the difference? That's negative love. Now I'm saying hardcore things, right? Hardcore things. Say like and financial infidelities too. Somebody that says they love you, but don't tell you that they have $200,000 in student loan debt and you guys have kids in a family and you don't find out until you guys are married. That's called negative love. That's called financial infidelity. Negative love. Mental too. Hey, you find out, you get on your partner's phone and you see they've been chit-chatting with the opposite sex sexually inappropriately. That's called negative love, because people in positive love don't do that. So let me explain one more thing to you. When you come to this side and you understand how it really works, and it's very rare that you're going to find another person that understands what I'm telling you. But when you do, because that's what I'm creating with SMD. When you do, you're going to respect it because you're going to know how rare it is. You're going to fully respect it, fully. You know how many SMD family members are walking around? Man, it's lonely. I can't really talk to nobody. Nobody really understands. I get it. Totally understand it. That's when you just go within. Just be happy being alone, and it'll come because you're already radiating the energy. Debt slaves don't know that. Like, let me give you an example of the type of energy that you will have once you own yourself. Because when you get to zero, you will immediately know that you're different than millions of other people who are in debt and don't know it. Once you understand this, you're going to radiate a different type of energy, and everywhere you go, people are going to start to be attracted to you. Always want to talk to you, see what you're doing, want to copy what you're doing. Everything you're doing, they want to copy. And you're going to be like, why does everybody want to copy me? Because they're being drawn to you. Because you own yourself. You're giving off a different type of energy, and you know it. Listen, I know what I do is different than millions of other people in the United States of America and all over the world. I already know that. You guys don't know that. I already know that. I always try to get, that's why, like when I go back to this dating coach thing, right? I want successful people that understand, that want to be numbered. They want to be the top at what they do, and they don't know that capitalism is psychological. Come to me. I promise you. And I would, not only am I telling you, I want everybody, I want all dating coaches to understand this. Not only am I telling you, I will prove it to you with math. Because I just don't want you to take my word for it. I'm going to show you with mathematics. I'm going to show you. Now, at that point, if you refuse to believe it or understand the numbers, there's nothing else I can do for you. I'm not here to make anybody believe math. I'm here to show it to them. Or if you're a person dating and you're just tired of the bullshit and you want an answer, come to me. I will show you how to do it. I'll help you understand the difference between positive love and negative love. I'm trying my best to explain it to you with words. Debt slaves don't know love is positive and negative. They don't know that. Hey, that's nothing. Hey, they'll put pictures up on or make you feel like an idiot if you see them put up provocative pictures on the website. Hey, that doesn't look appropriate. Oh, you're tripping. You're insecure. No, that's inappropriate. See, that's the mindset you will have. You won't fall for that kind of stuff. Oh, you're tripping, man. That's just a friend and this and that. You'll look them right in the eye and say, no, it's not. It's inappropriate. If you keep doing it, we're over. But what I'm telling you is this. If you understand what SB teaches you before getting into a relationship, that stuff won't be part of your world anymore. It won't be part of you. You will stop believing it has something to do with the color of your skin, a person's race, if they're tall, short, if they're from another country, if they were raised with these type of parents. Are they a debt slave or not? That's all you care about. I don't care if a woman comes from another country and she's beautiful and her parents raised her right and I find out she's making car payments. I don't care what she looks like. She's a beautiful debt slave from another country. What's up, Omanike? What if for the people with mortgages, what if when you signed up for the mortgage, it was required that they wrap a ball and chain around your ankle until the mortgage was paid off? Would you still be running outside talking about you're a homeowner? Would you do that? Would you get on social media and say, hey, I'm no longer renting anymore, but everybody can see the ball and chain on your ankle? And they're like, what is that? But what is that on your ankle? What is that? Oh, that's just the requirement to be in a homeowner. Really? How long you got to wear it? Oh, just 30 years. Just 30 years. If I don't refinance, I have to wear it longer if I have to refinance. Would that still be your same thing? Shout out to Dating Podcast Clips. Thank you. Thank you for coming on the CEO Network and Fresh and giving us the gem. You are very welcome. That was beautiful. Man, that was enjoyable. I really enjoyed that. That was nice. I could tell I had some wheels turning. I sure did. I had some wheels turning up in that room. What's up, Herbert? What's going on? And I always say this. I know men don't really understand this. They'll think I'm a feminist or something like, but I'm going to tell you something. If more women understood SMD, you guys don't even understand what would change. You guys have no idea. Put it this way. Women already know men are just coochie hungry. Okay? It just is, because men have been trained to be that way. Hey man, did you know you don't have to be that way? That's a program too. You don't have to be like that. You can actually control that. You don't have to be hungry all the time, because it gives off a hungry energy that you don't know, that they see every single day. Every day. But if women understood SMD, not only with the coochie power, but with the SMD power, that's like frosting on top of it. That's like frosting on top. You guys have no idea. Women don't even have no idea what would change if they had SMD knowledge. They have no clue. You understand? I mean, I could just picture if you're a woman and you see all these groups woman bashing, and then you know the majority of the men in there are debt slaves. Who cares what they're saying in there? They're debt slaves. Who cares? It's irrelevant. If somebody I'm up on stage and somebody says, F you, LJ, your theories and blah, blah, blah are stupid. And I'm saying, you making carpets? They say, yeah, what's that got to do with it? I just stopped listening to them. That's just an angry debt slave. Who cares what they think? All it's going to take, listen, and women, they adapt to things different than men do, right? It's different. If they find something that also attaches to their emotions that will make mathematical sense too on top of that, you guys don't even get it. I know you don't get it. You don't understand it. I know. QJ says, I hate the women channels on YouTube. Blows my mind. Shaking my head. I understand it's business. Those live bring in big audience and big profit from day. I get it. Now I get the business side. I totally get it. But I want men to understand something. Okay, you guys got to really. I know you think if you listen to enough of the wrong men, you will think all women are like the women that you see or you hear about on videos. I promise you, they're not all like that. Okay, especially get out of debt. That's going to eliminate 99% of your problems because you're not going to date a woman who's in debt. Now, say it like it is a woman that is like that, that's portrayed on her credit report is going to reflect that. The way she speaks, the way she talks, she's 9 times out of 10, she's going to be a debt slave. So it doesn't matter. You guys won't be getting caught up in any of that. You won't be going to the men bashing, women bashing channels. The majority, all you got to do is read the comments. Pick one now. You guys can do it now. You don't believe me? Go to some kind of channel that does that kind of shit and go read the comments. Who's in the comments? People that are in it. They're in the same perspective. That's why they're there. When you leave that perspective, in which you will, that stuff will not be interesting to you anymore because that's no longer your perspective. That's a perspective. Women have more rights and this and that and baby mama drama. That's a perspective that you don't have to have. That's a perspective. Exactly. That woman probably knows how to remove stuff from her own credit report. Exactly. Hey, listen, and if she's doing it legally, who am I to say anything about that? You know what I'm saying? She's obvious. If she's saying it out loud, listen, you guys got to understand. If she's an attorney and she's saying out loud what she's done, that means she's done it legally. So I guess she can. I just learned something new. I didn't know. Listen, I did not know you can go to court and get rid of debts that you created. I did not know that. I mean, I'm assuming on some piece of paperwork, you got to state that you created this debt. And what do you say? I don't want to pay it. I don't get it. You guys have no idea how much a credit report says about a person. Debt slaves are so focused on the credit score, they totally forget about the credit report. Do you know my credit report is just one page? It's just one page. Debt slaves have pages and pages and pages. They think having more than one page on their credit report is normal. They think that's normal. I only have one page. Why? Because I have no debt. Is that you? Are you are you tired? Is that you? You've been dating, you keep dating the wrong people. You can't figure out why you keep attracting the same. Now I want you to listen to your words. Why do I keep attracting the same type of men, the same type of women? You got to listen to your words. If you're attracting them to you, that means you are doing it. You're attracting them to you. I don't attract debt slaves to me. They're not attracted to me. I know why, too. I know why debt slaves are not attracted to me. When I'm out and about, like in the summertime where I live, a lot of nice, beautiful women to see, I don't look at them with the hungry look. You know why? Because I don't know if they're debt slaves or not. Listen, I know you guys think this is not true, but I would think twice about having sex with a debt slave. I would think twice. Because I know if I accidentally got a debt slave pregnant, that would tie me to the debt matrix for at least the next 20 years. And I'm 53. You'll think twice about that thin piece of latex. Your whole life depends on that thin piece of latex that they don't even 100% guarantee. Something breaks, or there's a hole, or there's a manufacturer defect, and you get her pregnant. The court don't care about that. Hey, Your Honor, I did wear a condom, but it had a hole in it. They'll be like, why are you telling us that? Then for the next 20 years, your check will be dictated by a person in a black robe that sits high above you, that looks down upon you. That's the fucking worst. Let me tell you something. That's the worst. Because that was me. Ain't nothing worse. You know you're used to it. You're not, hey, the judge sits high up and they look down and they tell you what to do and you shut up and your lawyer talks. Listen, I understand why the system is in place, why it is, because there's a whole bunch of people that don't know what to do when they create another human being. You know, we say the word, oh, that's my kid. Those are my kids. No, those are humans. I wish somebody would have said that to me when I was young. Hey, you're 22, buddy. Be very careful about creating another human. I would have said human. Why you say it like that? Because that's what the kid is. It doesn't matter if it's a boy or a girl. It's a human that you now are responsible for. You want to have that conversation? You'll be thinking twice. You will. You'll get, hey man, listen, young man, you'll get over thinking that the guy in your group that has sex with the most women, he must be the man. That's not true. You don't have to do that. You can just say this: I don't want to do that. I don't want to have sex with multiple women because that's what I choose. Oh, you're gay. I don't care what you say. Are you making car payments? Yeah. I don't care what you say. Listen, 9 times out of 10, the people that will talk about you, call you horrible gay names and all this other stupid nonsense, you turn to them and say, are you making car payments? Yeah, that's why you're talking like that. Even when I was a kid, because you got to remember, this stuff is programmed in you. Now, thank God, the universe, that I've always had my own mind. The outside world, I knew it was there, but I always knew I can think for myself. I'll choose what I want to do and not do. So when I started getting old enough to realize that there were gay people that like the same sex, of course you're looking like, oh, wow, I've never, you're young, you've never seen that before. You're like, oh, I never knew that. But it didn't make me angry. It's like, what does that have to do with me? Nothing. That's how I always have thought. Why would I get mad at something that has absolutely nothing to do with me? This is what I used to say to myself as a young child. And then when you get to school, they start doing it more, start doing the teasing and stuff. I'm like, why are you guys doing that? But you don't really say nothing to your friends, right? You just don't. I just didn't participate. Okay. I just always thought it was weird. What are you mad about? What does that have to do with you? If that person likes the same sex and they have a relationship with that person, what does that have to do with you? It's really about just debt slaves. That's why dating sites make so much money. Who do you think those dating sites are filled with? Debt slaves. What do you think dating apps are filled with? Debt slaves. Haven't you noticed you go to everybody's profile, they're all successful and happy and got stuff and houses and cars. They're always having fun traveling. Do you really believe that's true? There's trillions of dollars in student loan debt. Somebody's lying on their profile. There's trillions of dollars in mortgage loan debt. That's a lot of people lying on their profile. There's a lot of unhappy people. You think people post about the bad times? You think people that get mortgages and get on social media and hold the paper key in the front yard with their family, do you think they know they own nothing? You think if they knew they own nothing, you think they would be taking a picture with a paper key in the front yard and post it on social media if they knew they own nothing? No. You won't date people like that. You won't date people who finance phone, who makes car payments, investing in cryptocurrency while having student loan debt, thinking they're investing in retirement while having a mortgage. You won't date people like that. You want somebody that could change your whole dating life? Come see me. I could change your whole entire dating life forever. You'll thank me for the rest of your life, guaranteed. I can give you the blueprint. Let's see what you say. Jacques says a lot of mentally unwell people on the dating market with horrible financial practice. And you know what? I'm glad you brought that up, Jacques, because that is important. There are a lot of people out there with mental problems. And, unfortunately, society has made a person, when you say that, society has made it sound like, oh, if you say that about a person, they're crazy. There's people with mental problems. How do you tell a person with a mental problem that they have a mental problem? That I do not know. I leave that to the professionals. That's where I leave that part. I don't know the perspective of the world of a person with a mental problem. I don't know what the perspective could be. I don't know. But I know this. If it's illogical, it's not part of my world. You can really point out things if somebody has a mental problem, they will start doing illogical things in a relationship. Stuff that makes no sense. Why would you do that? You know that would end the relationship for doing that. It doesn't make any sense. That's a mental problem. It's really what it really is. It's really the obvious. Okay, let me give an example of the obvious. Okay, say like you're in a relationship with somebody and they have an affair on you. Okay, now we're gonna let's pretend to remove 100% of the feeling. So now this is the best way. Okay, we're gonna make this up in our minds. Okay, so picture the person. This is man or woman. Picture the person you love. This is imaginary. Okay, we're hypothetically. You come home. You open the door and you find your partner fucking in the house. Okay, but this time, since it's imaginary, we're going to be able to do this we're going to try to do it without feeling. Now feel your body, just picturing something that you're making up in your mind. You picture it, and you can feel your body starting to react to something that's not even true. It's not even true. And your body's responding. You got to say to yourself, now you can look at this with no feelings. Okay, you can minimize it because you know it's fake. So if you feel your body coming up with these feelings, I want you to try to put them away because you know it's fake. So just put them away. Now you view it. Now you can say to yourself without feelings, sit like you're picturing them on the couch, tearing it up, right? You could say to yourself with no feeling, obviously the person I love doesn't know that they're not supposed to have an affair on the person they love. So it's time for me to leave because they obviously don't know that because they're doing it. Because in positive love, you don't have affairs on the people you love. You don't do that. That's called positive love. Negative love is that. So you say to yourself, oh, I know they were saying they love me, but obviously it's negative love because they're having an affair on me. And then you walk away and you never turn back because you don't want to be with somebody that obviously doesn't know that. That would be too much long training because there's too many things involved in that. It's like, you got to think about it. Obviously they don't know. Now they're putting your life at risk because there's a disease out there that can kill you, take away you from your kids and your family, and you're not doing anything. You got to remember, you're in positive love, but you're in love with somebody who loves you negatively. So they're putting your life at risk. There's so many more factors that you think about this way because time is the most valuable thing on earth. Now, when you understand time is the most valuable thing on earth, you're not going to allow another person to cut yours short due to no fault of your own. If they don't understand that by having an affair on you, put you at your life here on earth at risk, that is somebody you do not be with. I have to explain to you that there's a disease out there that can kill you. I have to explain that. Goodbye. See, but when you're involved with the person, say like this is you. Because and if you're still with the person that has an affair on you, don't think you're alone. There's millions of people that do it. Man or woman, don't think you're a punk ass bitch, sucker, whatever the society says that they do it too. They're just not telling you. Damn, this person loves me so much they're willing to put my life at risk. Yes, that's who you're in love with. Somebody that knows there's a disease out there that they could catch that could kill you. But they love you so much that they don't give a fuck. You see what I'm saying? See the difference? See why I had to cuss? So you can get your attention. The seriousness of that. Oh, you decide just because you can't control yourself, you're gonna risk the time of I got kids. I'm not doing what you're doing, but you're gonna cut my life short. Goodbye. See the difference? That's what SMD offers you with Dating Minus Debt. That's the attitude you will have. You won't be lost in this dating world going from group to podcast, who to believe. Hey, listen, all these dating coach podcast people, you don't know how many, I bet you 99% of them are debt slaves. Guaranteed they all have payments of something. Thinking they own shit, assets, talking about assets and what they own and why they're just debt slaves. They don't know that. Now remember, I always talk about perspective. So like you go to a dating coach and they look successful and you trust them, right? Because you got to remember what you're seeing on your screen is a studio. They set that up. And they do their best. They're going to say what they're going to say to make you trust them that, hey, they must be living life good and doing right. I guess I can trust their dating advice when one has nothing to do with the other. But you just listen to them. They don't remember. The psychological is also a language that debt slaves do not know exists. Okay, they don't know that. So you just listen to them if they start mentioning owning rental properties, but they have mortgage payments and they own and property. The house, they got a house, but they're making payments, but they're calling themselves owners, and they're talking about how much equity they have. They bought it 5 years ago. Now it's grown 300,000 in equity. But when you find out they have a mortgage, you realize they didn't buy anything, anytime, anywhere 5 years ago. They don't know that. So now it's a perspective. So what you're about to do, due to, because you can't really tell you guys, debt slaves, you guys are under stress every single day, but you guys think it's normal. You guys say it all the time. Oh, how you doing, man? Man, I'm just stressed. Like it's normal. It's like it's just a regular word. That's not normal to be stressed. That's a problem. You don't know if they're under stress, but they're giving you dating advice from their perspective of their stressed life. You don't know, and maybe the person you're getting dating advice is behind on their rent. So now they're gonna make up some stuff or some just to make some fast money. It's you guys really don't understand. When somebody the work is different when it's driven by, if it's driven for money and payments, the quality of work you're going to receive is going to be different from a person that's doing it because of what they love to do. Like when you guys come to SMD, you see my subs, it's only 4,000, blah, blah, blah. But I do what I love. So I don't really pay attention to stuff like that. But also you guys got to understand 4,000 subs for SMD is like 400,000 regular subs for regular gossip stuff. The information here is here to change your life forever. It's not just today. You don't come to SMD and then 10 years from now, you're going to forget about SMD. It doesn't work like that. Once you understand it, it's for life. You're going to teach your children about SMD naturally. It's going to be an automatic. Then you're going to know the only way to own the time in your life, which is the true wealth. You know, that's why the word rich and wealthy is different. Wealthy people own the time in their lives. Do you guys understand that? They own it. Now you're probably listening and say, well, what does that mean? What does that mean? If you have only known the 40-hour work week your entire life, you have no idea what it means to own the time in your life. That's the wealthy. Has nothing to do with money. Money is part of it. Money is gained from understanding the true meaning of the word. You don't have to be rich to own the time in your life. You don't have to be rich. And if all you've known is the 40-hour work week, Friday and Saturday and Sunday or weekends, and you got extended holidays, then that means you don't know. You don't even know that's possible. If you believe the 40-hour work week is the only way of life, that means you don't know it's possible to own the time in your life. And the only way to do that, you have to create a business. That's the only way. You have to create a successful business. Not just coming out, oh man, I need to create a business to make some money. You know, you need to create, yeah, that's true, but you need to create a successful business. That's the whole purpose of creating a business. Like this, you see me doing SMD, right? Do you guys understand that this is forever? And it's not totally relied on YouTube. SMD is beyond YouTube. I'm just using YouTube as a medium. That's it. That's it. I already know what SMD is worth. I already know that. All I'm doing is waiting for the right entrepreneur business owner that's all about drive and determination to grow their business, to be the best in the field. They're not just all about the money. They're all about growing, being the best business owner. And listen, if this is you and you don't know capitalism is psychological and you want to be the best, come see me. I will show you with mathematics. I will show you. Now, if you don't believe the blueprint that I can give you, you have a psychological problem. If I show you numbers and you don't believe it, it's no different than me saying, hey, 1 + 1 = 3. If I said that to you, you would say I have a psychological problem, right? So the people, listen, so you guys can understand, people that believe they own houses with mortgages have psychological problems. Not the sense of they're crazy and they're, oh my God, they're so stupid. No, not that kind of psychological problem. They don't know that they're not homeowners with mortgages. They don't know that they cannot buy houses with mortgages. Obviously. Trillions of dollars in mortgage loan debt says people are not owning nothing. That's what that says. They don't own shit. Because if they owned it, it wouldn't be trillions of dollars in mortgage loan debt. And that's what you got to be, Omanike. When I was debt slave, I was honest about my debt. A lot of you guys are too scared to do that. Do you know that's a fake fear? Those are called fears, okay? FEARS, false evidence appearing real psychologically. Okay? Fears. False evidence appearing real psychologically. Even making 6 figures, when I was a debt slave, even making 6 figures, I was scared to look at my total student loan debt. I was terrified. And I'll tell you what made me do it. Finally made me look at my student loan debt after years of just making payments, right? One year, I got a raise, so I decided to start paying more monthly payments on my student loan debt. I started doing it. Because you automatically assume if my student loan debt is $500 a month and I pay $600, that means the $100 is going to go to principal. So I started doing that without looking at it. I started doing it. And then one day I went on ahead. I did it for a year. Okay. And then one day I opened it up and I noticed that there was 2 things that were weird to me. I noticed that my due date for the next payment wasn't due for almost a year. I was like, oh, wow. Oh, that's cool. To me, in my mind, remember, this is psychological. So as a debt slave, I said, oh, cool. So I'm paying off my debt faster. But I also have the option. So just in case if something happens during the month and I can't make that student loan payment, it'll be all right and won't ruin my credit. I was like, cool. That's what I said to myself, right? Cool. But then when I went to look at the balance had not gone down for a whole entire year. Then I was like, okay, this is weird. This is not making any sense at all. So I called them up. Hey, have you guys been getting my extra $100 for my payment? They said, yeah. I said, then how come my balance is not going down further than what it is? It's the same since I started a year ago. They said, you know what they told me? They said, oh, you have to call us and tell us to apply it to principal. I said, what? I said, wait a minute. The payment is $500 and I send you $600. So you didn't know to put that on? No, we were applying that to interest, AKA why the due date was getting pushed so further and further out. They were applying my extra payments to interest. I said, who in the fuck would pay extra money to apply it to interest? Sorry, sir. That's just the way we do it. But now that you called, we will do that. We'll apply all extra payments to principal. So all that year that I did was gone. $1,200 gone. I said, wow, that's what sparked me up. I said, fuck that. Okay, I got to get rid of that, because that was now. So now when I still was paying extra after that, but every payment that came, it was the next month's due date. It wasn't pushed out further and further. So if this is you, if you're making extra payments on your student loan payments, right, to try to pay it down, and you're not looking at it, but then you crack it open and see that your payment due date is getting pushed further and further, you need to call them up, because your extra payments are not going to principal, they're going to interest. So you better call them up and tell them to stop doing that. I'm in the process of choosing to free myself from debt. At least I don't have a mortgage. Yep, thank God. Or kids. Yes, to support. So I could do it quick. Yeah, I'm glad I was in the same situation. My kids were adults by the time I got out of debt. But it's so much easier by yourself. You don't have another person to try to convince. So Sal says, when I do pull up at Park, UPS at Park, and not rushing debt slave, is angry because his and her mailbox is full of envelopes. No running, pay us what you owe. Okay, what'd you say here, Sal? Maybe I'm reading that wrong. When I do pull UPS at a park, am not rushing the debt slave. Maybe I'm reading that wrong. Did you write that right, or am I reading it wrong? I might be. I don't want to. Any questions? Any questions? Is that you? Are you struggling in the dating world? You can't figure it out. Keep attracting the wrong people in your life. Giving up your body giving up, man or woman, giving up your body to the wrong. I know men don't look at it that way, but it is. Men don't believe a woman can't use them physically. It happens. See, I think that's where men mess up, because they really believe what society says about women. Oh, they have to be this, and if they're not that, they're this. And it's like, who's saying that? What's up, Wayman? Who's saying that? When you own yourself, young man, and you get in control of your sex drive, your dating life will be totally different. You go on a date, and the woman's going to wonder why you ain't trying to have sex with them. Hey, I'm just enjoying the time with you. It don't have to be about that. Are you attracted to me? Yes, I'm attracted to you. Then how come you ain't this? Because I'm just not, I don't know. I'm just not ready yet, I guess. I don't know. Some women you're going to come across, they're going to think it's weird. You ain't tried nothing. Something wrong with me? No, nothing's wrong with you. I just do things different. That's what I would tell a woman. If I was back there, I would just I just do things different. I know you're not used to this. I know you're used to guys that want to just straight get in the bed with you, but that's not me. I don't do that. I think about things a little more. Because imagine, put it this way, imagine how many people just jump into bed with each other, don't know anything about if the other person's good in bed sexually. Let's not even talk about the disease part. I'm just talking about the sexual compatibility. They just, including myself, jump in. You don't know nothing. You find out when it happens. If you like, because you got to remember, people don't really understand. Everybody likes something they like. Okay? But now the people have to figure out if the person they're about to have sex with likes what they like. So will they tell them? Will they not tell them? Imagine the stuff that's going through a person's brain when you're having sex for the first time with a person. I think like this, okay? If I could go back to the old me, I would have a conversation with the woman first before having physical sex. I would have a conversation. I would have a conversation to tell her what I like. See her response to it. And if she's into it, I'm like, tell me what would you do? How would you do it? Make things start before the physical act. And then by the time the physical act happens, the other stuff is out the way. You see what I'm saying? You just go straight into it. You're like, oh, everything's cool. Then you're going to be free. Ain't nothing worse than getting in it and you're like, ooh, I don't like that. You're like, oh, I forgot. Everybody don't like that. I would have a conversation with the woman. I think that would be even better. How many women do you think would say, I've had a man talk to me about the sexual act before we actually did it? We went into a deep conversation about it. I bet not many. I don't think many men would say to him, let's talk about it. Let's talk about it first. You know what I'm saying? I bet you that doesn't happen very often. That's what I would do. Right. Same here. You're right. Scare me. Especially when you know now, I don't really know how to explain this part, but when you're aware and you understand that capitalism is what it is, you're like, whoa, oh shit, that could take me out. Yeah. I mean, like you didn't know before, you know what I'm saying? It's bananas. It's just straight bananas. Any questions? Wayman did a good piece, I think a week ago. Awesome piece, man. Good job, Wayman. That was a good video, man. Good video. LJ be like, Catherine touched his bald head. This is a debt-free alien. I bet you never came across one. Right. You know, you're so crazy. You can't. Let's put it this way. All right, I'm gonna walk through. Okay, let's walk through. Let's say I'm 30. I'm in the prime dating age, and I go out on a date. First, I have to determine if she's a debt slave. That's just gonna be a natural. Okay, it's gonna be natural. Let's say I determine she's a debt slave now, but she's beautiful, she's sexy, she's into me, and I'm physically attracted to her as well. But it's gonna be in my mind. And you got to remember that age, late 20s, early 30s, mid 30s, that's the childbearing time clock age. Okay? Women want babies. I got to hurry up. My time clock's clicking. I mean, my time clock is ticking. So you got to be wary. You got to remember, if a woman gets pregnant at that age and she's keeping it. Now I would have to think, do I want to risk that? Do I want to risk it? You guys don't really understand what that means to be tied to because I know if I got this woman pregnant, who is a debt slave, that I know she's a debt slave. I know for a fact she is. And I get her pregnant, that ties me to the debt matrix for the next 20 years under state regulations. The state now can do with me, they do with my check as they wish. And again, I've told you guys, I've already been there. That's a horrible place to be. Thank God I was a debt slave. I know this sounds weird, but thank God I was a debt slave during that process, because I could only imagine being in court today, fighting over my kid with a debt slave in court today. Ooh, that would be like torture. That'd be horrible. Shout out to Nisha42GA. Thank you for the super sticker. Thank you very much. $9.99. I much appreciate it. Secretly, I do want more women to understand SMD, really. I want to see what happens. I do. I want to see. I want to see what happens. Then I want to see women start doing some podcasts with it. Oh, man. Shit. All I need is a couple. I know Omanike is already there. I need more than it. Got to be a whole bunch. Omanike. Let's say here, October says, I'd look like a deer in headlights hearing she's in debt after all. Right. Because you got to remember, women, there's some beautiful women out there that get by on their looks, and that's understandable. Nothing bad. I always remember this as a kid when I went to. Long story short, at 18, went to a strip club. I was like, oh my God, I get to go see naked women. And then she danced on my lap for about a minute and made $20. Now I'm a kid at that time. That took a long time to make $20. Okay. And she I wasn't mad at the chick. I was jealous. I was like, she made $20 in a minute. Now back then I'm making like what, $5.50 an hour, $6. So that took me like 3.5, 4 hours. No, 4 hours, because that's minus tax out of that 20. So it's really more than it took me longer than that to make the 20 because tax taken out. I was jealous. Now, I'm not claiming to know how women actually feel about man bashing groups. Okay. But let me tell you men something. Okay. So you guys can understand something that I did not know. Okay. I did not know. Now my girlfriend, she's on Facebook, right? She's part of this one woman's group. Okay. Where they say they talk about the stuff that's on their mind sexually. Let's put it that way. They talk about the stuff that's on their mind sexually. Now, as a man reading some of this stuff, I'm going to tell you right now, fellas, there's some stuff that I did not know that happens. I didn't know. I was like, what? Really? You guys do that too? Because as a man, you got society. Society will make you believe that it's okay for you to just sleep with as many women as you want, and it's okay, but women can't do that with men, right? And so men will be doing stuff behind their back and just think they're taking it. You leave for a trip and you think you're getting away with it. Let me tell you something, fellas, you're not getting away with it. The stuff I was reading in this woman's group, you guys are not getting away with it. Some of these women know what you guys are doing. You don't know. And some of these women, they have some dudes on standby. They're using them. And some of them, listen, some of them go into detail, fellas. A detail I know some of you men, you will not be able to handle. There is no way. There is no way I would be able to handle it. If I read that, there is no way I can handle that. LJ, you late where you feel. There is no way. I read some of that stuff. I was like, what? If I read that, I'll be like, I didn't even know she could do that. I didn't even know she liked that. I'm gonna go a little bit deeper. When I read some of that stuff, when I was reading some of it's like deep, right? And I said to myself, in order to reach, when I was reading some of the stuff, I'm amazed, but it's it's just a thing that they like, right? But I said to myself, in order to reach that place for a woman to do some of the stuff I was reading and enjoy it, that means you must have to reach a different part of her mind to do stuff, because the way they describe it, it was enjoyable. But I feel like you have to have a different kind of connection for her to want to do some of the things I was reading. And then the man comes home thinking he got away with whatever, and she's there at the house thinking she didn't do nothing. Like I said earlier, you guys, that's called negative love. When you're together with somebody and both of you guys are fucking around on each other, that's called negative love. People in negative love, they attract each other. You guys that's an energy. You guys attract each other. People that fool around on each other, That's why you guys connect with each other, because you guys do that. That's a perspective. Like when you hear somebody say, "Oh man, all men fuck around and all women fool around," well, that's their perspective of that. Is they don't all fool around. That's not true. That's their perspective of it. When you hear the word "all," that's when you just kind of tune it out. That's because it's not true. That's absolutely not true. So when you, like, if you're with somebody and you're out and about and you find that you see an attractive woman and they know that they know that you're with somebody, but they still see you. That's why you guys are attracted to you, because that's what whoever you're seeing, they do the same thing too. If I'm out and about and meet a woman and she says she has a man or she's married, the conversation's over. That's how people get killed. You know, even young people, you guys really don't understand, but you guys would if you understood SMD knowledge. You wouldn't really get yourself caught up in that. But you guys forget, out in this dating world, people they're not honest. They're not, "Oh, I'm single." How do you know if that's true or not? You could get hurt by somebody lying to you about them being single. What if this happens all the time? Somebody get mad at their person, then they get on the internet, meet somebody, run out, but they didn't end nothing with anybody. They're just mad at their spouse or person. And then they're out and about, and then the spouse and the person they're with sees them and loses it. Happens all the time. Go on YouTube. They got tons of videos of people killing each other over love. But even then, you can listen. You guys got to understand this too. When you own yourself, you can even listen in a dating world. You could tell if somebody's lying. You got to remember, people that are in that spectrum of the world, that perspective of the world of seeing multiple people and being secretive, that there's a pattern that they have. People that do stuff have a pattern. People that don't do stuff also have a pattern. When you start to date a person, you got to say, how would a person respond to a text and phone calls as a single person versus a person who is seeing other people and lying about it? Because you got to remember, if you're seeing another person, time must be carved out, because you're seeing another human being. So they're going to have spots of time that are unaccountable. They have to be. Work late. I went out with the boys to have a beer, whatever. It's just the same stuff, just different reasons. All you gotta do is pay attention to it. Then you know they're lying. If somebody's lying to you about being with somebody, they're gonna have a pattern. They won't be able to talk at certain times. They'll respond to text messages sporadically. It's a pattern that they have to have when involving other human beings in your life. I've been good, Cosmic. Yes, they do. SMD keeps you out of the negative in all facets of life, for sure. And you know, so crazy, October, I bet you when you say that, people think I'm bullshitting. No, your entire life changes. Again, all I'm doing is waiting for that one entrepreneur that wants the edge over everybody in the business game, in the finance game, anything to do with finances and money. What do? I don't teach you about that, because I'm licensed in none of it. Let me make sure it's clear, okay? I don't have any degree in finance. I don't have no licenses in anything. I don't know anything about investing, the stock market, nothing. I'm licensed in nothing. I don't give advice in nothing. Okay, let's make sure that's clear. Everybody clear? I'm not licensed in anything to give advice on financial anything, legal in any state. All I do is teach people how to apply mathematics to their finances. That's all I do. I teach you how to use your calculator and apply it to your finances. That's it. That's all I do. How are you going to give dating advice? I'm not a dating coach at all. I'm licensed in nothing. I haven't given dating advice to anybody in my life. I just teach you how not to date debt slaves. That's it. I don't care who you date, as long as it's not a debt slave. That's what I teach. Because I've had people compare me to financial people. I'm like, why are you comparing me to a CPA? I'm not a CPA. I didn't claim to know finances. I'm not. I teach people how to apply math to their finances. That's what I do. You probably thinking to yourself, oh, that's weird. What do you mean? Don't everybody know that? Obviously not. There's trillions of dollars in mortgage loan debt. Imagine all the people with mortgages calling themselves homeowners. You think they know they're not homeowners? No, they don't know that. That's the psychological part. They don't know that they're not. They don't know that they're negative homeowners. When you own your house, you don't tell people with mortgages that you own your house with no mortgage. You don't do that. You just pretend to have a mortgage with them. Why? Because debt slaves believe you have to be rich to own a house. They don't know it's the only way to own a house. There is no other way to own a house. You have to have money. When you come to the positive side of the economy, you got to realize the majority of what you see are mortgages. So that means all of those houses are available according to what the economy is doing. When you come to the positive side of the economy, it's not really difficult to look at the economy because the economy is debt slaves. Period. You don't have to be once you come to the positive side, say like you want to get into the real estate market cheap. Okay. Look for some big business in some city that's going out of business. Any companies going out of business pretty soon that employed a lot of people in a particular town or city. If you want cheap property, go there because you know people are going to lose their houses because of the job closure. Oh man, Walmart is closing down over in so-and-so part of town. Go over in that part of town and start looking around for houses because some people are going to be foreclosed on. Or be looking out for it because if a big company closes, that means foreclosures are going to happen. Any questions? So like I said, I decided to try something new just to kind of give you guys an idea. I said it would be good for Dating Minus Debt. It'd be a kind of a mesh a little bit of what people watch and then point out things that they might not be able to see because they think if you're on TV or if you've been on a show, that means you're rich. Well, I don't really look at the people on the show. I look at the people creating the show. When I think about money in a show, I think about the show, the people who created it. The people on the show, they're just part of the show. Of course, they're getting paid, of course, but I guarantee you it's peanuts compared to what the show is making. So, Mr. Big says, I'm out of debt except the house. How to decide to keep it or sell? If keep it, will it be a long 10 years. I don't make much money. Okay, so now again, I'm not a financial advisor, but I'm gonna give you some things to look at. First of all, I would have to know what type of mortgage you have. How many times you've refinanced it? How long you've been in it? Those are key factors. Because if you got an FHA mortgage and housing and the housing market is good, I would get out. Get out while I'm ahead. Because people put it this way, people with subprime mortgages, those are people, okay, conventional. Okay. All right. I'm gonna give you a perspective to look at it like Mr. Big, okay? All right, I'm gonna give you a perspective that I am sure. What's 3 years mean? 3 years you're gonna have it paid off? Is that what you're saying? Come up and hey man, come up and talk about it real quick. This is interesting. Come up and talk about it. You don't have to be on camera. Because I do want to give you, if you're, I've been here, oh, I've been living here 3 years. Got it. Oh, and you got a 30-year mortgage, right? How old are you, Mr. Big? You don't want to come up? Hold on, I gotta get some water. Hold on. I can answer your questions. Okay, so you got a conventional. I'd rather 47 too. Okay. 3 years in. I'm gonna say it this way. I'm gonna say it a couple ways. If you pay off your mortgage, if you pay put it this way. If you pay off your house, okay, that's no problem, Mr. Big. If you pay off your house, okay, listen to the statement I'm gonna say to you. If you pay off your house, your mortgage payments stay in your bank account for the rest of your life. If you pay off your house, you never have rent and or mortgage again for the rest of your life. So at 47, it's really, you got to really make up your mind to say, am I in this house to pay it off? Or am I in this house just to be paying on it for the rest of my life? Am I really gonna be paying for the next, think about it, you're 47 now. Do you really think you're going to do it all the way to the end? If the answer is no, I'd probably sell. But if I want to eliminate if I wanted to eliminate, especially at this age, if my income is good, it different counts on your different situation. But if my income is good, I don't know how much you make. Are you six-figure earner? You make 6 figures or 5? That's going to be another factor too. How much you if you're a 6-figure earner or not, how much you make? Eliminating the largest expense. A paid off house means you are eliminating, because everybody knows where you live. Oh, okay. And how much is the house? How much is the mortgage? That's going to tell me everything. If you pay off your largest expense in your life, which is your house, do you know how much money you'll be saving every single year? That's called phantom income. That's a form of phantom income. When you're paying, now what is phantom income? When you're not paying something that the majority is. So if you paid off your house, that means you don't have a mortgage and or rent. Okay. The majority of the United States of America, people are paying mortgage and rent. And if you're not, and say like they said across the board, the average rent, let's stay with mortgage. The average mortgage payment is $4,000. They say that across the board, okay, as an average, okay? And if you don't have a mortgage, that means you save $4,000 more per month of phantom income than the millions of people that they think it's normal of paying it for the rest of their lives. Okay. $1,246 a month. Okay. And your mortgage? No, how much is the balance? How much is the mortgage balance? 208,000. Okay. 47. All right, put it this way, Mr. Big. It's more of a it's going to be more of a psychological thing, okay? What you got to ask yourself, did I buy this house by these numbers that did I buy this house because so I don't be throwing away money on rent? Did you fall for that program? These are questions you ask yourself. Did I do it so I don't be throwing away money on rent, which is a program. That's a program that I'm sure the banks made up. Stop throwing away. That sounds like a statement that the banks made. Stop throwing away money on rent. What it really means is this. Stop giving your money to a landlord and give it to us directly. See, debt slaves don't know the true meaning of that statement. So now if you can get the debt slaves to pay a mortgage and they believe they're not throwing away money on rent, that's a win-win for the bank. So you got to determine to yourself, did I buy this house because of that? Because people get mortgages. I know this for a fact. If you ain't never had a mortgage and you get one because people have said you're throwing away money on rent, and then you get that mortgage and you realize it's not feeling the way you thought it was going to feel because everything's on you now. Now you're responsible for everything. When you pay the rent, at least the landlord was responsible for anything that breaks and all the taxes and this and that. But then you get your own. Now you're responsible for everything. This feels weird. It is, because it was a trick. So you got to ask yourself, Mr. Big, am I really going to pay this house off? Or am I just lying to myself? That's a question for yourself, for real, man. And you can't really care about what people think, what they might think if you sold it. They might think I'm broke and this and that. Anybody that, put it this way, Mr. Big, anybody that says that, say like you decided to you said, I'm going to get rid of this house, and people start talking, all your friends and all this bullshit, right? You got to ask yourself, is it people with mortgages making mortgage payments? Is it people making car payments? Buying on their rent, can't do something. That's a debt slave trying to make fun of you because of the decision you made. Why? Because they think they bought a house with a mortgage just like you did. And you got to say that to yourself, Mr. B. You got to go to the mirror and say, damn, they tricked me. They said I could buy a house with a mortgage when I could have just simply knew. I didn't think about it, Mr. Big. You knew you didn't have the money to buy a house in cash, so somebody else gave you an alternative method, the bank. When there is no alternative method to buying a house, there's only one way to buy a house, and that's cash. So at 47, you got to think to yourself, which is not, you don't have to be a quote homeowner. Right now, you understand that the word homeowner is positive and negative. The majority of people that you probably been listening to are called negative homeowners. Anybody that has a mortgage, they're called negative homeowners. Because all you got to do is open up your calculator, put in your mortgage payment minus your mortgage balance, and hit equal. That large negative number, that means you are a negative homeowner. So all the people that try to do that to you, they're negative homeowners. They don't know that they are. Loan owners, all that. Got finished with work. I'm set up. Oh, okay, cool, man. The link is there. I'll put the link there again. It'll be interesting. I'm set up. Conference with you. Okay. Oh, I'm a set up account. Oh, gotcha. Oh, no, I thought you were talking about this. Okay, you're talking about account thing. Okay. All right, you might as well continue to rent and increase your income until you have and put it this way. See what October's saying? This is what you got to say to yourself. When you don't, this is what you got to put in your mind, okay? When you don't have the money to buy a house in cash, your only option is to rent. And rent is an expense. See, that's another thing why I believe the banks made up this stop throwing away money on rent that debt slaves have adapted to. Rent is an expense. Mortgage is debt. There actually is no comparison to be made. When you hear a person say, start comparing mortgage versus rent, you got to turn to them and say, why are you making that comparison? There is no comparison to be made. One's debt, one's an expense. That's like comparing your monthly rent to a daily room payment or something at the Marriott or something. You know, it just makes no sense. But that's good, man. I'm glad. You know, these are, I'm 53 now, 47. You're at that age, you got to make a decision, right? And not saying that if you decided to give up this house, not saying that you're not going to have another one, but you're going to buy it correctly, because you're going to, once you free yourself, because you're there, right? You said you have no debt except this house. You're almost there. You're right there. Now you got this big decision, because Omanike, who is an SMD family member as well, she had that same decision you're at right now. Do I let go of this house or do I keep it? And she let that shit go. She loves it. Totally free. That's all she talk about. Thank God I let that house go, because it's really not yours, Mr. Big. Now that's going to be a hard pill to swallow, especially when you've been in it for 3 years. You have to accept it was never yours the whole time. Just think about it. The whole time you've probably been calling yourself a homeowner for 3 years, and today you come on this channel and realize that you're not. That's a hard pill to swallow. Is that money gone? Yeah, gone. It's gone. Maybe you'll get it back. I don't know how much is it our houses selling at a good price where you live? If it's at the peak, I'd sell. At this age, put it this way, Mr. Big, at this age, which is not old, I don't want you thinking 47 old, okay? I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that at this age, it's time to accelerate that money-making process, and that house seems to be in your way. Because you're right there, Mr. Big. You're right there. The house is the only thing. Now, again, you can do one of two things. You can make a plan to pay the house off, okay? Because if you got a conventional, you must have known, I'm assuming you put 20% down, Mr. Big. Did you put 20% or more down on the house, or no? Luminov says, just an idea, depending on the equity in the home, even though he doesn't truly own it, he could sell in the house and buy it. That's true. Now, I'm only talking about equity to you, Mr. Big, because you told me you got a conventional. So in order to get a conventional, you got to have some type of knowledge, something. And some type of credit too, on top of that, to get a conventional mortgage. But you've been in there 3 years, $208,000 at $43,000 a year. You're going to have to sell the house and increase your income, one or the other, if you want to get rid of that debt, because it's still a debt. I'm sure that's not especially Omanike was in her house longer than that. You have to have a strong mind to accept that. I know people don't really understand it until you do it. You got to have big ass balls. Even though she's a woman, she had big balls to be able to pull the trigger on that. You got to have big balls to accept, to say, this is not mine. Doesn't matter. I know how much money I put into it. I know what I fixed. I know what I did. You got to let it all go. And realize that you own nothing. Now, if you got equity and this is a good market where you live, and you might come out, Cosmic can attest to that. Other people in real estate. I'm not a real estate person. I'm just assuming if houses are selling for a good price in your area, I'd probably sell. No debt. All your income is yours. You could live a pretty good life in a rented place with no debt, no mortgage payment, nothing. You'd be living pretty good. Have time to decide if you're going to create your own business, which is absolutely the only way to become wealthy. You got to create a business. You have to. If you ever want to come to the positive side of the economy and realize how it really works, understand that it's psychological and the price of everything really is irrelevant, and debt slaves don't own nothing. Stock market is them. Cryptocurrency is them. Money is them. They're everything. Nothing could exist. Think about it. Trillions of dollars in car loan debt. If debt slaves were not financing cars, the car loan market couldn't exist. That's why they're important. Same thing with mortgages, same thing with credit card debt. All of it, it's all important. Once you come to the positive side, I help you understand that it's psychological, and you will create a business based around this knowledge, understanding that debt slaves believe they can own things with no money of their own. Debt slaves marry each other and create more debt. They think the divorce rate is high because they think it has something to do with money. It has nothing to do, it's debt. They have affairs at work. Why? Because they're always there. Of course, you're going to get to know somebody if you see them more than you see your spouse. Think about it. People work for years, working over 40 hours a week, and they're married. That means you see the person at work more than you see the person you're married to. You don't share problems. You don't have bill problems. Of course, everything is good and smiling and driving off for lunch, having fares in the car and shit. Of course, it's because you guys ain't got nothing tied to each other. It's great. It's so great, it has to remain a secret. That's how great it is. It has to be a secret. If that's you having a secret affair on the person you say you love every day, you're not tricking anybody. You're tricking yourself. Whoever you're having an affair with, you guys are made for each other. That's why you guys are attracted to each other, because that's what you guys do. That's a perspective of the world. I'm sure all the people that are doing it, they think they're doing something different and new. You guys are doing the same shit. We could see you. You're not hiding from anybody. This is the gift you'll have in the dating world. You'll be able to see debt slaves doing all that stuff that they do. They just do that stuff. It doesn't matter. That's just what they do. The court system couldn't exist without debt slaves. Did you guys know that? Now, I'm not saying everybody that's part of the court system is a debt slave. I'm just saying the majority of it is, for sure. I think about myself at 22 when I had my first kid. I was clearly a debt slave, having a kid at 22 with debt. No guidance. Decide to bring another human to earth that I'm responsible for at 22. No guidance at all. None. Zero. Clearly, that's clearly a debt slave decision, having a kid that young, clearly. And saying the same thing, oh, I'm going to be the best dad. I'm going to give him everything I didn't have. Everybody says the same thing over, and I'm going to give him everything that I didn't have. I'm going to do whatever it takes, including breaking the law. You hear the same old thing. I'm going to do what it takes. What's that take? Breaking the law? No, you're not. You're not going to be doing anything for anybody except for the state. I hate when I hear those young dudes be like, man, I got my kid now, man. I'm going to do what it takes. I don't care if I have to bid. You're going to care what? That you're going to be working for the state for the next 15, 20 years of your life? What you going to be sending? Pennies and child support? Because you're going to make 5 cents a month. How much? Then that state's going to take child support out of your check of the money that you earn in prison. Sending your kid 5 cents a month. I'm going to leave it with this, you guys. You guys really don't understand, but the majority of you guys don't understand. You don't have to be part of that perspective of the world. That is a perspective. You guys will know what to listen to when you're out on a date with a debt slave. Are they making payments? Do they have the latest iPhone in their hand? Do they have to finance a new iPhone every year? Are they buried in credit card debt? Are they running from the IRS? Do they believe they're a homeowner with a mortgage? Do they finance a car every 3 years? Do they say, oh man, I like having a new car every single? No, they're stuck. And if you come across a person like this is right here, you guys got to really listen to this one. if you come across a person on a date and they're one of those forever students, 9 times out of 10, that person is now stuck in school. That's why they're always in school. Because you got to remember, if you're taking out student loans, as long as you're in school, you don't have to make payments. So now you come across a person that has all these degrees and they're like, oh yeah, man, I'm going back to school to get this and I want to get that and get this. Those people are stuck because if they stop, guess what? They have to make payments. And you'll notice that they have all these degrees, but they're not working in any of the fields of their degrees. They have all these degrees, but don't have a job in it. What's the purpose of the degree? Nothing. They just owe money. They're stuck. Those people are literally trapped. They owe so much money, they don't even know. But if they stop going to school, now they owe. So now they can't stop because they can't afford the payment. Now they're stuck forever. So if you go out on a date, that person is always going to school, just remember, if you tie your saddle, if you tie yourself to that horse, you're gonna be in some debt trouble. Anyway, I'm gonna leave you guys with that. You guys have a wonderful afternoon, Sunday afternoon. Until next time, all right. See you later, Omanike. Shout out to Ike. Thank you for the $100 super chat. Thank you, sir. Much appreciated. I came out of nowhere. Shit. Thanks, Nick. Tinfoil hats. Appreciate it. Who else threw me something up there? It's Ike, Nick, Tinfoil hat, and Nisha 42GA. Thank you. Thank you. Appreciate you all. Until next time, you guys. Later.